What if you could magically turn your Friday into a Thursday or potentially get rid of Mondays completely? Is that something you'd be interested in? It might be reality sooner than you think. Now that companies and even countries are experimenting with a 4-day work week. Now let's go ahead and dig into why the 4-day work week might be coming to a company near you. Traveling back in time, the 5-day work week was actually popularized by Henry Ford from Ford Motors. He essentially was a disruptor in the industry and in the workforce because he essentially transitioned from a 6-day work week to a 5-day work week because on the assembly line, he essentially found that within a 5-day work week of working on the assembly line, people were more efficient, more productive, they were staying happier longer, they were making less mistakes over time, and overall just found that it was a better fit for the assembly line worker. And it's pretty crazy to think that our normal reality around the world has a 5-day work week, which is essentially structured based off of Henry Ford's structure for assembly line workers to build and construct automobiles. Now, there hasn't been too many adjustments since Henry Ford implemented this over around 100 years ago. And I think that's kind of crazy to think that the workforce hasn't really adjusted that much till recently with the current structure of working remotely. Now a lot of companies experimenting with a 4-day work week. Some of these studies that companies have done with experimenting with a 4-day work week have been pretty shocking. There's been 40% increases in productivity, and this was done by a study with Microsoft Japan experimenting with a 4-day work week. There's been a lot of other companies, and even Spain is experimenting with implementing this for their country. Other companies like Unilever are also experimenting with a 4-day work week. Now, I want to talk about what are some of the benefits of having a 4-day work week. I'm sure a lot of you are probably thinking, if I'm only going to work 4 days, there's no way that my company is going to pay me for a full 5 days. They're going to have to decrease my salary by 20%. But a lot of these initial studies and findings have found that, one, people are able to work 4 days, and in the case of Microsoft, have a 40% increase in productivity. Now, that's a win-win for the company and for the individuals working at Microsoft Japan. They only have to work 4 days. They're more productive. They're more efficient. They're happier. They're going to be sticking along with the company longer term. And in turn, that's going to make Microsoft a lot more money because they don't have to hire as frequently. They have a 40% increase in productivity. It's going to make the employees a lot happier because they only have to go into work and they only have to log in 4 days a week. They're getting a 3-day weekend every weekend. And again, this just kind of goes to show that the workforce hasn't really been disrupted. But now, would you consider working a 4-day work week? I think most people obviously would. If you don't have to take a pay cut, if there's no other sort of downsides, who would say no to a 4-day work week? I definitely agree that there needs to be some sort of experimentation, and maybe it's going to vary by industry, by sort of companies. Maybe they'll need to have some sort of infrastructure to make sure that it's as impactful as possible. I'm a big supporter of finding work-life balance. I think in the world we spend more time working than we should, especially when it's just burnt time in an office place or time looking like we're busy. I would say there is a better way to do this and a more productive way that's going to be a win-win all around. So I'm all for the 4-day work week, and I think a lot of companies are going to realize that they can increase productivity, make more money, keep their employees longer and happier over time. So I'm curious to see, what do you think? Do you want to live to work or do you want to work to live? I'm curious. Let me know in the comments. And I guess the next and final question is, would you rather have Friday off or Monday off? I'm curious to see what people think about the 4-day work week. So make sure you leave a comment below letting me know, would you rather work on Fridays or whether work on Mondays? I think I'd personally rather have Fridays off, but I'm curious to see what everyone says. I think both would be nice. And again, if you made it this far, please consider liking this video if you learned something new. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell notification icon to get alerted about the 2 new videos I'm publishing every week. Take care and have a wonderful rest of your day.